everybody, this is Doc with Thoroughfan, and we are just a few days away from the middle jewel of the Triple Crown. That's right, it is the Preakness Stakes coming up this Saturday, and we will soon find out if Mage can add that second jewel in his quest to become racing's 14th Triple Crown winner. I'm sure a lot of people still have very prominently on their minds everything that happened in the week leading up to the Derby with the unfortunate breakdowns and sudden deaths of those horses, the unfortunate deaths of some of the horses on Derby Day itself, and even the past Sunday, with another horse unfortunately succumbing to injury. And it always does raise the question among everybody of exactly what safety measures are going to be in place for the horses for the Preakness, what kind of integrity and drug testing protocols are going to be in place. So we figured, as always, we'd try to answer them here on Thoroughfan. And a lot of the similar protocols that were in place for the Derby are going to be in place for the Preakness. Now, the one thing to again remember is that HISA and their anti-doping and medication program protocols, they are not in effect for the Preakness. Those program protocols do not go back into effect nationwide until the Monday after the Preakness, actually. So while HISA will still be in charge of, and their protocols, programs, and regulations regarding racetrack safety will be in effect, and they'll be the ones that are being enforced on Preakness Day and, of course, Black-Eyed Susan Day the day before, none of the anti-doping or medication control issues will be in effect for Preakness Day or Black-Eyed Susan Day. So those types of protocols and regulations once again fall to the Maryland Horse Racing Commission and First Racing, which owns Pimlico and, of course, puts on the Preakness. And as I said, a lot of the protocols are going to be very similar to what we saw for the Derby. So all of the horses that are running in the Black-Eyed Susan and the Preakness have to be on Pimlico's grounds a minimum of 72 hours before race day. So basically, this is being recorded on a Tuesday. By tomorrow, they would all have to actually be physically on the grounds. I'm pretty sure almost all of them are on the grounds now. There may be one or two coming in very early tomorrow morning. But for anybody running, obviously, in the Black-Eyed Susan, because of the time frame, they would definitely have to be on the grounds now. Those running in the undercard stakes, there's a little more leeway there. They can be on basically grounds that are training grounds or other racetracks that are approved by the Maryland Jockey Club and the Maryland Horse Racing Commission. So a little bit different there, but you know, for all intents and purposes, all the major horses that are going to be competing in the stakes races and the undercard races, as well as the big races themselves, they're going to be on the grounds at Pimlico. You know, that's the long and the short of it. Now, out of competition testing, of course, will be done, I'm sure probably pretty frequently on all of the major players that are involved in the big races this coming weekend. Any kind of what we call total CO2 testing will probably be done on all of the participants, and this is usually done very close to their race times, a half hour, hour out from their race times. And again, what we are looking for in that situation is any kind of rise in the CO2 level or bicarbonate levels, which may indicate that a horse was milkshaked. And of course, milkshaking is something that is done to try to artificially buffer the lactic acid that is building up in muscles that start to fatigue, and in theory give the horse a boost and cause them to be able to run at a top speed and top performance level longer than they would be naturally. In these big stakes races, because everybody knows it's going on, it would really be foolish to even try to do something like that, but that testing is still done. Post-race testing, of course, is probably going to be done on all of the competitors as well, and usually we have a pretty quick turnaround time again on those post-race tests. For anybody that has been following the Derby, you know, that happened the last couple of weeks ago. All of the post-race tests for the Derbies and Oaks horses did come back clean, so there was no evidence of any kind of doping, any kind of medication overages, anything like that in those competitors. And usually it's about 48 to 72 hours before we get those results back for the Black-Eyed Susan and the Preakness runners as well. Now, as far as the horses being watched on the track and of course the safety and making sure that they are sound and healthy enough to race, this again will fall to the veterinarians that will be monitoring these animals very, very closely. All of the entrants for the Black-Eyed Susan and the Preakness do have special saddle towels, which makes them easier to identify when they go out on the track in the morning. A team of veterinarians will be watching these horses to make sure that you know, there's no signs of soundness. They will all be undergoing very intense exams. Those that saw kind of what went through with the Forte situation, the type of scrutiny that goes through with these horses to make sure they are perfectly sound to race will be done again by the veterinarians of First Racing and I'm sure of the Maryland Horse Racing Commission and the Commission veterinarians. They're going to be watched every day in their stalls. They're going to be examined multiple times a day, and right up until the race. When they come into the paddock, they're going to be looked at by veterinarians. When they're out warming up for their race, they're going to be looked at by veterinarians. They're going to be monitored right up into the gate. There's going to be veterinarians following the horses as they're racing to deal with any unfortunate injury that may occur. Hopefully that will not happen. And of course, after they're done and they're coming back to be unsaddled and cool out, there will be veterinarians watching them there as well. There will be protocols in place to transport any injured horse as quickly as possible to a veterinary facility that can deal with whatever injury or illness or infirmary may have stricken that horse. So everything possible really is being done to try to ensure the safety of these horses. Now, we know we cannot 100% guarantee that there will be absolutely no incident. There is no way in any sport to 100% kind of determine that. And as we talked about in a previous segment, with everything that went on at Churchill Downs, there are investigations in place, and we do have to let those investigations kind of take their full process before we can get some accurate information to then share with everybody as to exactly what happened in those circumstances. So that's kind of what's been going on, and that's what's going to be going on for the Preakness. Again, if there are any medication violations that happen to pop up, either in anti-doping or in medication overages, that is going to be handled and adjudicated by the Maryland Horse Racing Commission. It is not going to be adjudicated by HISA because those rules and regulations are not officially in effect until, I believe, the 22nd of May, which would again be that Monday after the Preakness. So that's exactly where we stand on that. Again, all the racetrack safety protocols will be monitored and enforced by HISA, so those rules are in effect. So that's, as I said, what's been going on. As far as my Preakness pick, I really don't see anybody beating Mage. I mean, if Mage comes back as good as he ran in the Derby, and he's got the trainer and the connections that know how to do this stuff, so they do know how to get their horses ready and to kind of race in good campaigns. Can't really see anybody that's in this field beating him, so it looks like, if it all goes according to the way a lot of people want, we will be looking to see if we get another Triple Crown winner at Belmont in about 3.5 weeks' time. As far as a long shot play, it's a total hunch play for me, but it would be Red Route 1, and that is only because I have always loved the movie The Hunt for Red October, and of course that was a big aspect of Ramius, where he took the Red October to run those sea trials, and where the Dallas and their crew were able to determine exactly what went on. Obviously, everybody's probably, or most people have probably seen the movie, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. But my hunch play, long shot play, would be Red Route 1. So hope everybody enjoys the races this weekend. There really should be some good races. Going to be really exciting to see Feza come back and run in the Black Eyed Susan, and see some of the other big stars running on the undercard races, and of course the middle jewel of the Triple Crown itself. And if Mage can continue his quest to become the 14th Triple Crown winner. So as we always say, if you are looking for the most up-to-date and accurate information about this great sport of thoroughbred horse racing that is put on by us the fans for you the fan, there's only one place you need to turn all year long, and that's right here at ThoroughFan.